Alabama's line is not what it was when they had all those guys. That's what it comes down to. They can't run the football. When you run the football, you set up everything else.
On today's Throwdown Thursday edition of the Odd Coaches Podcast, Dr. Adams and Coach Francis recap Week 10 games, share their thoughts on the potential changing of the guard in college football, review Dr. Adams' strictly for entertainment purposes only picks, as well as previewing Week 11 of the college football season. Welcome to today's show. The Odd Coaches Podcast is sponsored by the CKA SAVE Project. The CKA SAVE Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA SAVE Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Greetings and salutations and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with me today is my tag team partner, the Larry, the axe hitting to my handsome Harley Race in the late 60s and early 70s, the icon, the showstopper, the main event, and the reason why we are here, Coach Mike Francis. And Coach, No Budget Productions is rearing its ugly head, but how are you today, this morning, my friend?
I'm a prisoner of No Budget Productions this morning, but I'm doing well. Thank you.
All right. So fans, this week, as you see the ever-evolving background of Dr. Adams, I finally almost look like I've got a show. We still got more work to do, but thanks to my wife for her help. We've got an action-packed Throwdown Thursday edition. It's going to be supersized, so Kelly, get ready for some extra work. Segment one, we're going to go around the territories, and as we get to the last 3-4 weeks of the season, a lot going on. Segment two, we will continue to have conversations about what these fan bases and ADs are looking for in their coaches, because my goodness, I don't know what's going on. Plus, we need to talk about security because, again, last night we got issues. And in segment three, strictly for entertainment purposes only, I was only slightly entertained, but we'll talk about that. And we'll also go after the college football committee because they don't know how to do anything, and the OCP can help them. But let's jump in. ACC, Clemson versus Notre Dame. Week after week, we have told you, fans, how unimpressed we were with Clemson, how unimpressed we were with DJ, and he was an underperforming quarterback, and how coaches stay with players too long because of feelings and emotions. My man Jake told you last week, fans, that Marcus Freeman just needed some time, and he gonna get one of these, Keith. He gonna get one. Okay, Jake, he's our Notre Dame guy. Mike and I told our audience last year during bowl season that, and people thought we were crazy, that Clemson was done being a national power, and they're going to have to settle for being the best in the ACC. And my partner said, look, Keith, they're trying to play a game, and he'll explain it if he wants to a little more, that they can't play because the kind of recruits that they play in and ACC football and blah, blah. And the audience is like, whatever, man, or applesauce, as we like to say. Notre Dame was down and out, but again, I asked Jake, and he gave us nugget after nugget, and he was there last night. Mike, I sent you the pictures and the video of my man Jake in South Bend. So, Mike, give me your thoughts about Clemson versus Notre Dame before we're going to pause on that before we go to the rest of the ACC.
Yeah, I just think that he did need a little more time. I'm glad to see the turnaround. But Clemson themselves, it's going to be a while before they back to as dominant as they was a couple of years ago. The ACC is just not that level anymore as far as football is concerned. And I think Dabo is going to take a hit with recruiting over some other issues, personality issues and things like that. Like I said before, I felt like if I'm a parent, if I'm a coach, I'm not sending my kid there. I don't care what the outcome may be. I want to make sure my kid's taken care of. And he doesn't, to me personally, this has nothing to, nobody else has to go by it. But to me, the reasons why I sent my kid to University of Maryland would be the same reasons I wouldn't send him to Clemson.
And we will take it at that. But Clemson, we'll talk about you in segment 3. Mike, North Carolina is quietly having a great season, and kudos to Mac Brown. Again, fans, I had a chance to spend some time with him earlier on the preseason doing a conference, and the football staff was very kind to me. And I said, man, this quarterback, it's not bad. We went down and watched them play FAMU, and that wasn't their best performance. But I said, Mike, this quarterback, man, he's not bad, and he's Luke May's brother. So he's from an athletic family. They have Wake left, which should be a challenging game. They got Georgia Tech, which they should beat, and NC State, which is always that in-state rival, left. But keep an eye on Drake May, because, again, not for the football playoffs, something going to happen. But Mac Brown is underrated. He's done some work. Any thoughts on Mac Brown before we close out? Because I did want to pause on Mac Brown because he's an old man, and he gets it.
He get it. You see him in the locker room doing those dances and things like that, and that's the difference between him and Trump Jr. Dabo. But you see the difference. Mac Brown can make that relationship with his players. Mac Brown is personable. That's what we are now as far as kids and when it comes to recruiting. And I like to see what he's doing. I'm glad that he's, has a resurgence at North Carolina. Good luck for him and the rest of the Tar Heels.
Yes, and as we will do now moving forward as we are getting to the end of the season, the ACC currently has 8 bowl-eligible teams. You need to hit the 6-win threshold, and we will talk about that with each team, each conference that we talk about as we go around the territories. But moving forward, the American Conference, Mike, Tulane is ranked 19th in the current CFP, and they're going to go up. I don't know how high they're going to go up, and no, this ain't Project Cincinnati, but they're in line for a Sugar Bowl bid. They have UCF left, and that's going to be a good win if they get it. They have SMU, and they have Cincy as their last 3 games. So that's a bad loss to Southern Miss. No other team in the American will move the national meter.
Yeah.
So,
they're not
again,
keep
an eye. No. Keep an eye on Tulane, because they're that last beacon of hope for that group of 5 in terms of national rankings. So again, I'll keep you posted on that. I do want to say, Mike, the final score of the Houston SMU game was 77-63 in regulation. What in the tar nations was going on there? That's 4 quarters. That's not even overtime. And it was 70. I thought it was a basketball game. 77-63 football game in regulation.
They score more than the basketball team.
And I think I wish Point 5 was here. I want to know if Houston does play SMU, because that will be embarrassing if that game is lower scoring. Anyway, the American currently has 4 bowl-eligible teams going into Week 11. All right. Big 12. TCU wins again. They escape with another win. They have Texas, Baylor, and Iowa State left, and they are the only nationally relevant Big 12 team. Mike, they got Texas left, and the committee likes that. Committee ranked Texas pretty high. So if TCU can get that Texas win, man, that's going to mess up a lot.
Well,
because you can't keep them out.
No, you have to put them in. You have to. Now
they're already 7, and they're going up. They're not going to go down.
So when you put them in, though, who now do you take out? Who do you take out?
And we're going to talk about that in segment 3, my friend. But TCU, that game against Texas next week, that is something for you guys. Anyway, Kansas has won 6 games, and they're bowl eligible. Get out, as Elaine would say on Seinfeld. Kansas is bowl eligible.
Okay,
Bowl
Elaine.
eligible. Okay. And the Big 12 currently has 6 bowl eligible teams. I don't know if you had anything left with the Big 12.
I did not. And I love Kansas's uniforms yesterday.
Is that where we are, man?
No, I'm saying they had the red pants with the blue.
Yes.
Let that gray stuff go. I don't want to ever see Kansas in gray again.
Okay.
Their colors are red, white, and blue. I like it.
All right. Okay. Big 10. Ohio State, don't milli vanilli and blame it on the rain. You didn't play well. Okay. Michigan, I don't care that you won the game. You let Rutgers lead you at halftime. That's what you did. Illinois, you blew a chance to be relevant. Maryland, we love you. I live close to you. But you gotta beat Wisconsin on the road if you want to be deemed that next level in the Big Ten. You got to. And the Big Ten currently has 6 bowl eligible teams.
That might have been the worst.
Mike, any thoughts on the Big Ten?
That's the worst performance I've seen from Maryland this season. They just looked uninterested. No offense. They just looked uninterested.
Yeah, and what I was hoping for, and you'll find out why in segment 3, is they take that win to Wisconsin and then they go travel to Happy Valley, and now that game takes on a different level of significance.
Oh yeah.
But now that's just another game.
Yeah.
And I want Maryland to be in games of national significance in terms of bowls and this. So that loss is just not a good loss, man. But I digress.
Not at all.
All right, HBCUs. Jackson State beats Texas Southern. Okay. FAMU's won 7 straight, Mike.
Yep.
FAMU's won 7 straight. North Carolina A&T is ready to play somebody. And North Carolina Central put 50 on the Bison of Howard University.
And Howard was like 5-1 or something, right?
They were undefeated in the MEAC, and they have 5 MEAC games in the conference. So that's where the 5 came from.
So they was 3-0 in MEAC play. Is that what it was? Okay, I got it. Okay, I got it. Thanks for clarifying.
It should be interesting in terms of the Heritage Bowl. I'd like to go to one of those things, though, man. But we just don't have we've got the leave. We just don't have money.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta
I got the leave.
Yeah,
I just can't afford to go.
Yeah.
All right, so group of 5. Mike, JMU hung with Louisville, but took the L at the end. Coastal Carolina's 8-1. Memo to self, text Nima, just in case to just check in because the season started, but Coastal keeps winning.
Yeah.
And here are the current group of 5 bowl eligible teams, not including teams in the American, because the American is just a little bit above in the national eyes. Western Kentucky is bowl eligible, and keep an eye on them if you're strictly for entertainment purposes only. UTSA is bowl eligible. North Texas, Ohio, Air Force, Boise State, San Jose State, South Alabama, and Troy. So if you see these names against these Midland Power 5 conferences, take the spread, man. Don't take the money line, take the spread, but we'll get to that later. All right. Independence. Mike, Liberty beat Arkansas.
I was waiting.
Liberty beat Arkansas.
I'm waiting.
Arkansas.
I got Liberty right here on the screen. Like, I can't wait till we get the Liberty. Boy.
Liberty are 8-1. Yes. I don't want to play them in a bowl. And Hugh Freeze is going to get an offer. Now, whether he takes the offer, I don't know.
No,
but this dude.
He just signed.
Remember, he just signed, and you know how that works.
Yeah.
He got an extension. Yep. He got a pay bump.
Mm-hmm.
But you see the money they paying people not to coach.
Yeah, do you
don't think that Auburn or somebody ain't gonna call.
I wish they pay me not to coach.
Come on, man. So I'm very excited about that, but I'm not a big fan of Liberty. But they beat Arkansas. This is business. I ain't got nothing to do with politics.
Hey man, them people beat Southern Miss. They lost to Wake Forest by a point. They beat UMass, ODU. They beat BYU 41-14. Like,
and they're an independent, so it's hard to get a game. It is as an independent.
You can't. That's good though. I love to see it. I wish homeboy was still in Connecticut when they played next week, and they beat them by 200.
Which
Right.
leads us to UConn is 1 win away from being bowl eligible for the first time in a long time, but they play Liberty and Army to end the season. I think they might be stuck on 5.
I think they can beat Army.
Okay. All right. Pac-12. 1 loss Oregon. They ain't got nothing coming, man. I'm sorry. 1 loss USC. They ain't got nothing coming.
Next conference.
Utah shouldn't have a loss, so they got nothing coming. UCLA, enough said. Pac-12 currently has 6 teams that are bowl eligible, and I'll be betting against all 6. And I am sure I will win more than I lose come bowl season.
He betting against all 6.
I'm betting against all 6. Okay, say that down. Call it. Whoever it is, I'm taking the points. Okay, taking the points.
It's not important.
Whoever it is, I'm taking the points, and I'm taking my chances. Anything you'd like to say about the Pac-12 before we get to the real football? I mean, before we get to the SEC.
I'm going to cash app you so you can double down.
All right. So the SEC, got to take it to AEW. My name is Maxwell Jacob Freeman, and I'm better than you. That is MJF every week. Georgia is just better than you. When they said Tennessee was number 1, I said, oh, Lord, what y'all trying to do?
They done pissed them off.
Don't let the score fool you, by the way. Don't let them last points at the end tell you a different story. Georgia simply outclassed Tennessee in every facet of the game. And that interception that dude caught, I thought he was on Tennessee, where the quarterback put it right in the breadbasket. Okay, he put it in the pocket. Any thoughts on Tennessee, Georgia, before I go to the next game?
Interesting to see how far Tennessee falls, because they are a good team. I mean, they're a good team, but I was talking to DeLon Paris yesterday. He said, Georgia out here restoring order. Tell Tennessee, go back to your room.
Hey. Like I said last week, y'all remember your Kansas. They remembered that, hey, we're orange. What are we doing here? Anyway, and again, Tennessee's a good team, but you're in the same division as Georgia, so you're done with the national title stuff. So I don't want to hear that. They're going to say all of this and these probabilities and yeah, done. Okay. So let's go to Alabama, LSU. And first, I'm going to start with my boy Jake. I'm telling you, when we developed the iCoaches podcast, we said, let's look at the Linfield sports books or the Athlon sports, and we sitting here saying to each other every week, why don't we just call our friends? They're smarter than these books. Yeah. So all summer, Mike and I got our crew together. So we did, hey, we're going to do this, and we're going to do it right. And Jake said, I'm in. So then Jake, I reach out to him because he's busy. People work, man. And I said, give me some nuggets, Jake. And he said, hey, man, here's what I'm thinking about. He said, despite how he left Notre Dame, Brian Kelly can coach, Keith. He can coach. Okay. LSU is a good fit for him. That's what we told our audience last week. We said that, trying to help you out. Mm-hmm. And then on the flip side, we have said throughout, my partner, the football guy, said, Keith, Alabama's running game. And he said it all last year, too. He's like, man, they lack something. And now, as we mentioned about 5 weeks ago, they don't have world-class wide receivers anymore. They had wide receivers get picked in the first round of the NFL draft, and now they don't. They're good, but you had, generational talent and wideouts. You could throw that thing up there. And you also had generational talents at quarterback. Say what you want about Jalen Hurts. Eagles is undefeated. Played Alabama. Say what you want about Tua, and man, don't be playing out there, man. Get on out of there. Go sit home. Dolphins is playing. So you had generational quarterback talent. You had generational wide receiver talent. So we can hide the running game because we don't throw that thing up. Now you got a pedestrian quarterback, one Heisman, good for you. You got a running back that they keep telling me is a Heisman candidate, but I didn't see it. And you got wide receivers driving past. That's bad math, Mike. So Give me your thoughts on Alabama LSU, sir.
Alabama's line is not what it was when they had all those guys. That's what it comes down to. They can't run the football. When you run the football, you set up everything else. You set up the play action. You make people have to play defense. They put one man down in the box to stop that run game. And when you do, it takes them out of the secondary. That gives me advantages with these speedy receivers, whether they're world-class or not. I just need a step. That's all I need. I just need your linebacker to hold 1 second, and then I can create a gap to throw the ball, create my windows. That's the kind of thing. So Alabama's line is not as dominant. And in the SEC, and if you've seen when national championships, Clemson, when they won it, the offensive line and defensive line are what make your team. And right now, Alabama's offensive line is not what it was. That's all it is. I won't blame the quarterback. I won't blame no receivers. I'll just say their offensive line is not as dominant as it has been in years past.
All right. And say what you want. Nick Saban lost on the last play on the 2 losses. So I ain't crying for Alabama, but don't think it's crazy.
They're right there.
Don't think that decline is Clemson's decline. Clemson's decline is going to be visible. It's going to be noticeable because they got smoke.
Yeah.
Alabama lost on the last play to Tennessee, and the goalpost is down the river. Alabama lost to LSU on a gutsy ass call by Brian Kelly. Gutsy call. But folks, stop storming the field. Because if you're supposed to be elite, why are we storming the field? If you're supposed to be elite, it's like the kid, I'm a school teacher, folks. When the kid tells me, hey, Doc, I got an A, that means you don't get a lot of A's because you're about to celebrate. It's not an expectation.
Exactly.
We have high expectations. So you're expected to get an A. So no. I'm not dapping you up for every A you get. That's why we got problems now because everybody got hugs and kisses all the time instead of high expectations. But I digress. Stop storming the field. I will say that one more time. Stop it. South Carolina won, Mike. South Carolina won.
Did anybody get punched in the face when they stormed the field this week?
We'll find out. We haven't been on the internet, but I'm sure there's some camera phone. And the SEC currently has 8 teams that are bowl eligible. Yes, I said 8. And they will probably have 10. Which means they've beaten everyone else before they beat themselves.
8 is a small number compared to what they got.
They got but 12 teams, Mike, or whatever. Yeah, and they might have 10.
And
so
they different.
10 out of 12.
Right. It's different.
And we got 3 weeks left in the season. So they got 8 with 3 weeks left in the season. And everybody else got 5 and 6. But whatever. All right, fans. We're going to take a quick break and come back and yell at Auburn for not knowing what the heck they want, as well as other shenanigans on the Odd Coaches podcast.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student-athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Fowler and Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams, just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey." Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA SAVE Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches podcast in segment 2. I got to ask my partner, what are we looking for? So after less than 2 seasons, Auburn fired coach Brian Harsin last week. The decision came just after the school named a new athletic director, so I get that. Okay. And the new athletic director, John Cohen, came from Mississippi State. So he's going to hire his own people. Okay. That's kind of how the business works. His firing also came less than 48 hours after the Tigers lost to Arkansas at home by 2 touchdowns, and Arkansas loses to Liberty. The team dropped to 3-5 and is in danger of missing out on a bowl for the first time since 2012. Running back coach Carnell Cadillac Williams, I remember Cadillac, will serve as the Auburn interim coach. He's in his 4th season at his alma mater, where he was an All-American. Brian Harson's tenure at Auburn ended with a 9-12 record. Mike, what are they looking, man? What are we doing?
They're looking to be, bowl eligible. You're not looking at, national. Well, they are a national championship program. Let me take that back. They probably was looking at that, but you have to be relevant. And I'm not saying you're going to beat Alabama every year, but you're going to make the game competitive. You got to be competitive in your conference. Right now, they're not competitive. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's due. Maybe it's recruiting, maybe the turnover, maybe the staff he hired. It could be any of it, but he got to take the fall for it.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Now you want to do something, and it still wasn't done yesterday. Less than a month after an Alabama football player appeared to strike a fan who stormed the field of Tennessee, the SEC announced Friday of last week, okay, and we're taping this Sunday, that it's forming a working group to address fan access to the playing fields and the courts after games. The Event Security Working Group will review and update field access policies and consider strategies to support effective crowd management for the purpose of enhancing the safety and experience of the fans, teams, staff, and officials, according to a news release. Current conference policies need to be reviewed and improved with a focus on addressing field and court incursions by spectators after contest, according to SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey. The SEC Working Group on Event Security will focus its efforts on reviewing existing policies, developing new strategies, and identifying best practices to enhance crowd management and more effectively address field and court excursions at future SEC athletic events. Mike, what did they do after LSU beat Alabama?
Man, you talking all that shit and throwing them words together to make it look good. Man, they ain't doing it. What you gonna do?
Did you see what happened last night after the game?
What you gonna do? How you gonna stop all that? And then you gonna put it on the event staff? Come on, people, stop that. You can't stop that. No. Stop lying to people, man.
How many work groups have you been a part of? Anyway,
you know what I mean? We're going to
look at best practices. Best practices is arm the security guards and they don't storm the field. And we're not going to do that. No kid states here. No.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Then what are you?
But Mike, on a serious note, after the game, because we were both up very late, so I don't know how we're up this early. But and it's daylight savings. What am I doing? I'm sorry. But seriously, they had to surround Nick Saban. And they had to, just for the handshake, right? It was like an ordeal. And safety and security, we've been apart. And when you're coaching high school, they're right on top of you. So when you coach at good schools like Mike and I have, and you lose a game, you're the game of the year in everybody's schedule. Yes, so we're like, I'm not mad at the handshake, and I'm not trying to be a butt. But y'all got Barney Fife in the corner, and that's all y'all got. So I'm going to call timeout early. I'm going to get the bench out, okay? And then once the game's over, I'm already eyeballed you and said congrats, but I got to get them out of here because y'all about to go nuts. And you've been in those type of situations too. Are you still mad that I said Barney Fife?
Yes.
You be old school. And the staff ain't there. Ain't no coverage.
All right, man. Barney Fife.
So anyway, man, we got to do something about safety and security. All right. Last thing, Mike, I want you to be a high school coach. I want you to be a high school football coach again. And how does this get you ready to play college football? High school football national power, IMG Academy.
90s.
All right. They opened their season last year, beating Bishop Sycamore in Columbus, Ohio, 58-0. And then we found out all this bootleg stuff about, Bishop Sycamore. Okay. So last Friday night, IMG put out a beating that made that last year's game look like the Super Bowl. They're ranked 10th nationally, and they beat a team in the first half, 96-0, playing West Toronto Prep from Ontario, Canada. Again, they were up 96-0 at the half. In the last 4 games, they outscored their opponents 254-0. Why is a team that's 0-6 on your schedule in the first place? Help me out, Mike. What are we doing, man?
Games. They need games, man. They need games. That's what they need. And if they need games, they're going to get the games no matter who they play, who's ever willing to play. There's schools paying schools now. For instance, I know St. Francis is paying schools to play them because nobody wanted to play them. So the check, a nice little check for students for your program or whatever. So that's what's happening right now. That's the way it is. They need games.
6. What are you getting out of that game, man? What are you getting out of 96?
They suspended the game at halftime, yo. That was crazy, though. When I read that, I couldn't believe it.
From Ontario, Canada. So whatever the heck they played, one half of football.
I didn't even know they played football in Canada.
Stop that. All right. Fans, on the other side of this break, we're going to talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. I'm not Tony Kornheiser. I don't have a Canadian flag. We'll be right back.
There is an old business adage that says, what gets measured and monitored gets done. It is also fact that deadlines spur action. That is what the CKA SAVE Project academic monitoring service can do for student athletes. Measure and monitor their academic progress to improve their grades. Our academic monitoring services provide ongoing academic support for student athletes for a designated period of time. Our academic success coaches work with student athletes on time management and organizational skills, along with improving their ability to self-advocate. Every few weeks, our academic success coaches meet with student athletes to assess their academic progress, as well as provide ongoing academic advising. If needed, student athletes have access to CKA Learning Specialists who provide virtual core subject academic support for student athletes. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free virtual consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast. In segment 3, we've got to try to figure out the top 5. And I know I have my thoughts, and I'm going to pass it to my partner in a moment. But right now, OCP top 5. I've got Georgia as 1. Georgia should have been 1. And they're talking about strength of schedule, quality wins, blah, blah, blah. Are you kidding me? Eyeball test. They look better than them. Good enough for me. All right, I have Ohio State at 2 because they're undefeated. They're in the Big Ten, and they're going to beat Michigan. So they're going to be there. So there you go. Okay, hey, Max, how you doing? See you at work on next week. TCU is my 3 right now. They're holding on for dear life. So for this week, I can put them at 3 and not worry about it. Michigan is my 4 because they're still undefeated. They're going to lose to Ohio State. Then we won't have to talk about them. But before they lose, we got to keep them in. And I've got Tennessee at 5. Okay. Now, the only reason why I got Tennessee at 5 is they're going to be ranked high, but they're not. They have no path to go to the SEC championship now. So they're going to slowly drop down. They'll be in the Sugar Bowl or whatever, and they're going to be irrelevant, okay, in terms of a national championship. Sorry, that's how the rules work. I don't book it. I just work here. And you don't want a 12-team playoff yet. If that's your problem, that's not mine. So on the outside looking in, it's Clemson. So here's the question. Does a one-loss ACC champion mean anything? Answer's no, but we still got to talk about it. But a one-loss ACC champion, it don't mean nothing. All right, so then Oregon, UCLA, and USC are all the same dude, okay? A one-loss Pac-12 champion. Is that going to move the meter? No, okay? It's not. Okay, I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now, fans, you don't want to hear it, and it doesn't make for good TV, but we ain't on TV yet. So now we got Ole Miss is in the mix for 1 week because Ole Miss has Alabama, and Ole Miss can win that part of the SEC if they beat Alabama and run out and then lose to Georgia in the championship. That could happen. And also LSU as a 2-loss team. If they make it to the SEC championship and they beat Georgia, are you going to keep out the SEC champion? The answer is no, you're not. So the SEC, Mike, still going to get 2. Don't know how they're going to get 2, but they're going to get 2. Ohio State's 3, and then I don't know who else. My tag team partner, you have the floor. Go ahead and chop me up.
Ain't no one-loss West Coast team going to be anything. Let's get that out. Let's get that out the way right now.
But Oregon's only lost to Georgia. Oregon's only lost to Georgia.
And if they play Georgia today, the Georgia who played yesterday, they're going to beat them worse than they did the first time.
Agreed.
All right. Do you agree?
Agreed. 100%.
So other than Georgia, we had Georgia. I'm not sure about TCU. I'm not sold on TCU.
I know. They got to keep winning. As soon as they lose, they're out. As soon as they lose, they're out. So,
I'm not even thinking about TCU right now. Georgia is definitely one. The SEC teams hurt themselves. They hurt themselves. Tennessee hurt themselves. I believe there are some 2-loss teams that might still be better than the 1-loss teams out on the left coast. But it is what it is. Give me Georgia over the whole field.
Okay. So Georgia's there. They ain't taken before. Okay. So Georgia's 1. You got 3 left.
You can put anybody in there that want. Combine the teams.
Ohio State's going to be 2 because they're going to be undefeated.
Oh, my God.
They're going to be undefeated, so they're there. So now you really only are picking 2. So who are the other 2 teams left?
Michigan's
they're going to lose to Ohio State, so they're going to be out. And nobody's going to talk about it. They're not saying you're not taking 2 Big Ten teams. I'm going to tell you, no, you're not doing that.
That's a sleeper. That's a sleeper. Do you take a group of 5 team?
No, not at all. Not at all.
No.
So
Liberty.
No. All right. So we're going to move on.
Notre Dame.
No, not at all. And I will say, 1, I'm tired of hearing about this Power 5. No. What did they call it? We've got a bias against TCU that's called brand bias. That's it. No, if you go undefeated,
who created that?
That's the media was talking about that all week. Well, it's brand bias. If Texas had TCU resume, then they'd be in the shut up. It all will work itself out. So I don't want to hear about
crying ass babies. Win something.
Okay.
Just win.
College football playoff folks are clueless. Their metrics are flawed.
Win. That's the answer.
Just win, baby. There you go. So with that, speaking of winning, I didn't have the best week. And Mike, it's my fault. Okay. We were talking about apologizing in the NBA episode. I like to apologize to myself for not following my own advice. So my spread of the week was Oklahoma State -2.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
I think they lost to I don't know who I think it was Kansas that they played. Okay. It was somebody that after getting shellacked last week, I would think you'd have a little personal pride. And the spread's -2. But apparently they don't have personal pride in Stillwater, Oklahoma. So
it fell short of the state lines.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm 6-4 on the season against the spread, but that's my own fault because I thought they had some guts and some intestinal fortitude, and they thought they wanted to redeem themselves from a horrible performance, and apparently they do not. So I apologize to myself for thinking that Oklahoma State cared about playing
Kansas,
football.
Kansas not going to do it. So excuse me.
Okay.
We're going to be here for
So over under Tennessee and Georgia was under 66. And I took the under, and I'm 5-5 on the under because when good teams play each other, the defense is what carries you. And that's my partner's influence on me. So I'm looking at Tennessee, I'm looking at Georgia, I'm looking at the talent across the board, and you can get hit a lot. And that quarterback for Tennessee was under duress, as we like to say. So the balls is flying a little bit high, a little bit low, a little bit short. Can't get them feet down and feet square. So
he backpedaling throwing.
Okay. So I got that one. My 2 play of the week, and I'm 4-6 on the 2 plays. Straight money line. I picked UNC and I picked TCU. Okay. So they came through for me. North Carolina had me a little shaky, but whatever. My 3 play of the week, again, it's my fault. I blame me. Okay, it's on me. I picked Minnesota to win. They did. I picked Penn State to win. They did. And I said to you last week, hey, let's keep an eye on Illinois. They could make it. They could have some problems with people. They could have some problems. They ranked in the CFP for first time ever. Let's go get them. You lost to Michigan State. You may as well have been in the tunnel. If you said something inappropriate, I'm glad you're on mute because that's how you get us in trouble.
No, I'm laughing at you. Talking about you should have been in the tunnel. Yo, you let it go. You can't do that. For
a performance like that, I need to sit 3 of y'all in the tunnel.
He said, I need that energy y'all got in that tunnel on this field. Michigan State, man. Shout out to Mel for the win yesterday.
That's 100%. Because they beat you. As I like to say in Sparty Town, we'll beat you on the field at all. All right, okay, I'm sorry. Shout out to Butch and the fellas because they know that bit. All right, and my money line play, yes, was Maryland. I'm 2-8 on my upset of the week. I wanted Maryland to win. Wisconsin fired their coach. You got all kinds of stuff going on. Well, maybe he should have been fired because they've been playing better since he's been gone. So, look for my picks every Saturday. But hey, there we go. Moving on to my season-long win totals. I eliminated all the ones that didn't work out for me, and now here I'm on. Georgia over 11. They got 9 wins. Mike, can they go undefeated? They got Mississippi State left. They got Kentucky, Georgia Tech. Will Georgia run the table with those 3 games?
Yeah, and they lucky they scheduled Mississippi State late. God, I hate to be Mississippi State right now. But that could be a trap game too, though. Just coming off of what they did.
Mike Leach is still coaching, right?
Oh.
I'm not worried about the trap. Okay. Kansas already won, and they got 6 wins. They're bowl eligible. Congratulations to Kansas. All right. Mike, I got North Carolina State at over 8.5. They've got 7 wins. They got BC left, Louisville and UNC. They've got to go 2 out of 3. How am I looking on that?
You're looking good.
All right. Looking good on that one. Nebraska's already under 7.5. Doesn't matter. I can catch a ticket. I'm just waiting because this is my bowl money. Mm-hmm. Notre Dame over 8.5, and they're at 6 wins. They got to go undefeated. They've got Navy, BC, and USC. Can they go 3-0 and get to 9 wins?
USC game be the only one I'd worry about.
Well, we said that on Notre Dame on several occasions this year.
No. The pageantry, everything that's going on with that game. They'll beat Navy. They got Navy, right?
Yeah, in Baltimore, and Jake's going to that one too.
When is that? Not next week.
Yeah, this is next week.
Oh yeah, because it's Veterans Weekend.
Yeah. So
yeah, I forgot about that. Yes.
All right. And again, shout out to Jake, man. Appreciate the energy, man. It was electric atmosphere, baby, in South Bend. All right. Penn State over 8.5. They're at 7 wins, Mike. They got to win 2 out of the next 3. We got Maryland, Rutgers, Michigan State. How am I looking, man?
I don't Michigan State and if they play the way they played last week, you know what I mean?
If locker room Michigan State come out, too soon.
If Michigan State come out with that tunnel vision,
all right, sorry,
you in trouble. Boy, if Michigan State, they treat you like they're doing the tunnel, your ass in trouble.
I need a t-shirt. Okay. All right, I'm done, man. All right, I'm sorry.
Mel need to practice in that damn tunnel.
I got Texas under 8.5 wins. They're at 6 wins. They've got to go undefeated. They've got TCU, Kansas, and Baylor. How am I looking there?
No, they're going to lose to TCU and Kansas. That's for sure.
And it's still Kansas, man. Kansas still makes me nervous. I won my ticket. So now I'm sitting here thinking, should I put money on Kansas, and not Kansas as the season? Now it's at like one individual game. That's very, very nerve-wracking.
Yeah, Kansas.
Texas A&M under 8.5. Told y'all bums. I don't care how much you pay for talent. I don't care how much NIL deal you got. You about to get tackled. Okay. Jimbo has some generational talents and riding them coattails, as you told me. He ain't done nothing since those dudes. So whatever. And he ain't developed nobody since. Nobody.
The Manning boy be there next year, right?
Manning boy be at Texas, not Texas A&M.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, same thing for Jimbo. All right, South Carolina, Mike. South Carolina over 6.5, and they're at 6 wins. Here's the last 3 games. Florida, Tennessee, Clemson. Can they get one? Can they get one? They just need one.
They're not going to get one out of those 3. Not at all.
All you gotta do is get one to the pay window.
That would be an interesting bet though, if they can get 1 out of 3. Somebody's taking you on for that.
No, man. I think that the Florida game is the one I'm interested in because I think they could beat Florida. I'm not messing with the Tennessee game.
They might.
And they always lose the Clemson. They always lose the Clemson.
Hey, but I don't know the way Clemson going now. You're gonna see these mysterious injuries, and you're gonna see guys that have to sit out now. You know what I'm saying? Because they're gonna start getting ready for the draft.
Well, now let's take a look because I did pick Clemson over 10.5, and they've got 8 wins, and they got 3 games left. They got Louisville, Miami, and South Carolina. Can they go 3-0? And let me cash this ticket.
Watch. It's gonna be tough. I'm just saying, you know how. Especially now, kids nowadays, they just start.
They flake out on you.
Oh, my God. If they ain't got a chance, if it don't benefit them, they done, So
quick to quit is what we call this generation, and that's research. That's not being
mean. They even created something called silent quitting. You hear about that?
No, that's quiet quitting. And don't say that to my wife because she'll say, "Will you shut up about quiet quitting?"
You know what I mean? That's a new thing.
Yes, that is a thing, actually, and I can give you more info off air. And Ohio State over 11. They've got 9 wins now. That means they got to go undefeated. They got Indiana, Maryland, and Michigan. Can that happen? Is that a good safe ticket?
Indiana, Maryland, and Michigan. No, I don't know. That's tough.
All right, we'll see, man. But that's all tough. I got left in play.
It's 3 opponents. You know what I mean? Like, that's tough. That's tough.
Hey, I ain't mad at myself because
Indiana, Maryland, and Michigan.
Yeah. So I put out 14 season-long bets, and like 11 of them are still in play going into the last couple of weeks. That's why it's strictly for entertainment purposes only. So you'll see my bets as the weeks go on, fans, as we close the season, really revolve around me making more money. So week 11 games to watch, sir. Washington and Oregon, because Washington can beat Oregon. Remember a few weeks ago, I said, man, Washington was like in the top 25, and then they had some hiccups, but they've played better since then. I'm not saying they're going to beat Oregon, but they can beat Oregon. So I'll keep an eye on that game, and that might be one of my spread games. It might. I haven't seen the lines. Maryland plays Penn State. I just wanted that game to mean more. It just doesn't. But it's Maryland's Penn State. Okay.
Yeah, but and just to clarify the Ohio State thing and the way they looked yesterday,
Yeah, they look bad.
Yeah. So
and don't tell me about the rain. I don't want to hear about the rain. The rain very bad. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, because it rained in Georgia too.
It didn't rain on your. It didn't rain on just your side of the field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I want to hear that. All right, Notre Dame Navy. Notre Dame's trying to get to that 9-win mark and get that extra bowl money. All right. Alabama Ole Miss. Man. Now, again, Alabama lost their 2 games on the last play of the game. Ole Miss has a chance to be relevant. Can Lane pull it off? I don't know. But now that game takes on extra significance because, Alabama's lost. What do you think, man?
Yeah.
It's like a depressing game. It's like,
it is. Like I don't know if I can even get up for this game to watch this game. I mean, honestly, I was thinking yesterday. There's some games we never. I remember when Florida State played Miami. I didn't move. Nothing happened. The world didn't exist outside of that game. I just can't. I don't.
It's not the same buzz.
No,
and one of my boys called me during the Miami Florida State game, and I didn't even know it was on. So that tells you, because I was watching other stuff for the show. We weren't going to talk about that on the show, so why am I going to watch it? And if you didn't bring it up, we would have gone the entire show and not even brought it up, which shows you how irrelevant Miami was. Because after that debacle against Duke, I said, I'm done. I'm done. So UCF plays Tulane. That game is of significance because UCF's ranked and Tulane is the highest ranked team in the American. And if Tulane makes it to the American Championship as a 1-loss team, that means they go to the Cotton Bowl, and that's more money for Tulane than they've probably ever seen in football, like ever. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Game of the week is TCU Texas. Okay, in my eyes, because if TCU can keep escaping, they're gonna cause trouble. And the committee wants them to hurry up and lose. You know it. I know it.
All they got to do is win, though.
And the fancy, there's going to be some strange calls, I'm sure. There's going to be a flag that you're like, where's that flag from? I didn't say the fix is on.
Should be sliding out of the referee pocket. He be running into the
I saw this video of this high school ref
kick the ball. Oh my God. That happened to me once. We was playing against Gork. Never forget it. You can ask DeLon Parrish and Lou Brown. We was playing against Gork. Man, it was horrible. They dropped the chains. Then when they went and remeasured it, he moved the ball, then moved the chains, and then they got the first down and we lost. Didn't go to the county championship.
Man.
6-7, 6-8. But they shouldn't even score it. It was crazy, man.
And the last game of the week of my eyes, UNC's playing Wake Forest. Again, UNC is quietly having a good season. They got 1 loss. It's a bad loss, but it's 1 loss. So let's see how that works. And then they'll be on a dead hunt to play in the ACC championship. Heisman watch from various media reports. Tennessee quarterback Hendon Hooker is still in the lead. Ohio State quarterback CJ Stroud. USC quarterback Caleb Williams, keep an eye on him. Michigan running back Blake Corum. I'm not a fan of Michigan, so I don't think that's going to happen for him. I like North Carolina's quarterback Drake May. I hope that he at least gets an invite to New York City. I think that would be a handsome reward for a quality season. So keep playing. Your boy, Oregon quarterback Bo Nix. Now, my question to you as we talk about Bo Nix is he's playing well in the Pac-12 and they ran him out of the SEC. What does that say about the Pac-12? And what does that say about the SEC? Or am I just being mean?
It's a different brand of football. That's all. Different brand of football.
Hey, you. Get out.
I don't think they ran him out. I just think, coach change. Maybe. You think that's what it was? I mean,
Hey, keep balling, kid. Keep
he in at
balling.
Auburn, right?
Keep balling. I believe so.
Right. And they ready to get rid of the damn coach. Maybe he left. Well, they're not ready to. They already did. He left because he saw, it wasn't beneficial for him.
Handwriting on the wall. Yeah,
Yeah.
to thy own self be true. So I ain't
To
mad
thy
at you.
own self be true. He getting out
Yes.
there, mother. He was the first. He was the first one off the Titanic.
First one off, man. I'm not playing. I ain't the band. Gonna play when the boat's singing. All right, TCU's quarterback Max Duggan and Alabama.
What was that? We hit some. Nah.
And Alabama quarterback Bryce Young.
Nah.
It's not gonna happen.
Nah, it's not.
So, fans, before we close, both Mike and I have some personal, outstanding things that we are trying to do and promote, and we do want your help and want your support. Mike, can you talk a little bit about what you're doing, sir?
Yes, going on year 7, I think it is 7, maybe even 8. My family we've been working with a local transitional housing here in Severn. It's a shelter for families in need, families transition from homeless or whatever it may be. And it's full of kids. And we always try to do events surrounding that facility. It's called Sarah's House. It's one of the Catholic charities in Anne Arundel County. Every year for a Thanksgiving week at the University of Maryland, my son's graduate there, of course, we do a football game, a basketball game, a volleyball game, a women's basketball game. So there's 4 events that we collect canned goods. We ask people to come to the event, who are coming to the event, to bring their canned goods and non-perishables. We collect those, and then we deliver them to Sarah's House. So in conjunction with the Anne Arundel County Police Department and our family and the people who we get to volunteer, we've been doing this for about 6 or 7 years now. We continue to do it. We've also done Christmas for teens because everybody remembers the little kids, but the teenagers who are in transitional housing, they have needs too, because yes, they're old enough to work, but because of their family situation, maybe they're babysitting, maybe they're not allowed to work. So we would collect gift cards for those teenagers, and we would fill the stockings with gift cards. So each kid would get a stocking. Each teenager would get a stocking with about $150 to $200 worth of gift cards, so they can get what they want for Christmas. That's what we've done in years past. I don't know if we're going to. It's probably something we're going to do again this year too. We're trying to just finalize those. So when AJ is home the week before, on November 19th at the University of Maryland football games, the activities those weekends, the 18th, 17th, 18th, 19th, is when he's going to be. We're going to be able to do that again. So if you are listening and you attend the University of Maryland events, or if you just want to come by and drop it off because we're outside the gates, we have a box set up outside the gate in the football stadium. So if you just want to come by and drop food off, we really appreciate your non-perishables and canned goods, and we'll deliver them to Sarah's House. It's for a great charity. The kids, they really, really love it. And whenever we get a chance, we go by, and AJ goes and speaks. And as we had a basketball game before where we had the 7 NFL players, and all the money went to Sarah's House. So,
all right. And again, fans, that will be at the University of Maryland's game, and I think they're playing Ohio State that day. So,
yes.
If you can do that, and if you're within driving distance, it is definitely a charitable cause. And if you follow Mike on social media at Coach Franchise, you'll hear the spelling every show. So check that out. And on my end, with the CKA SAVE Project, we're approaching the 1-year anniversary of the release of our Finding the Balance book project. In addition, we have worked since 2009 to assist student athletes and the people who work with them through educational and professional development. This year, we are fortunate to have 3 student interns, and the 3 student interns created 2 online fall fundraisers to just help us do the work. Everything we do is no budget production. I mean, heck, And you have seen, if you've watched us, our growth and development. So our 2 fall online fundraisers, we're selling popcorn, double good popcorn, and we're doing a fun pasta fundraiser. So if you follow us on social media, you'll be able to see our links. I'll be sharing our links with our super producer, Kelly, who will hopefully put it on the screen for our online audience. Our fundraiser will run from November 7th through November 11th. It is a tight fundraiser. So again, follow us on social media, and Kelly will put that up on the screen at CKA SAVE Project, at Odd Coaches, at Coach Franchise, spelled FRANCHIZE. Click to purchase the popcorn, the pasta, and you're going to help a lot of folks in terms of just supporting student athletes and the people who work with them. We're also developing curriculum for the Finding the Balance Book project. And if you're so inclined to give a cash, the tax-deductible donation, you can Venmo or Cash App us at CKA Save Project, or donate directly on our website at www.ckasaveproject.org. So again, we rarely spend this much time on show doing this, but what Mike's doing in this fall season, you see they're doing it early, folks, as opposed to, people are homeless year round, and it's not just at the holidays. So the fact that, they're taking the time now to assist, that's what we want. We want to help student athletes. And right now we're about to be in fall and basketball season, and there's going to be a lot of kids who cannot use their athletic talents because academically they're underperforming. So we want to help. That's what we try to do. So again, on behalf of my tag team partner, Coach Mike Francis, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast. And we will see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA SAVE Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach FRANCHIZE. For more information about the CKA SAVE Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.